Hey buddies, welcome to AmassGames. My name is Simon. Today we're going to have a setup, play and review for the game ARCS. Now as you can see, the game is actually a completely finished state. We've just played over 4 chapters. Over here you can see it's almost in shot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 chapters. If someone crosses past the 30 marker in a 3-player game, then that will trigger the final round or the final chapter, but it will be 33 points or 27 points if you're playing as a 2 or a 4 respectively. This is a game set in space. We're playing different factions, trying to be the best tribe, trying to fight over various resources, various planets, etc. This is a game that takes around 2 hours to play. I'll be setting this up and showing you the 3-player game. I haven't got the setup cards in front of me, but I can talk to you a little bit about what we're talking about. So this is a game involving cards. You're going to have cards which represent things such as called mobilization, aggression, construction and administration. They come in 4 different colors, 4 different suits, values from 2 through to 6. This is in a 2 or 3 player game, or 1 through to 7 in a 4 player game. Now this is a game which you may seem and look like a bit like the game Twilight Imperium, and I've played that quite a few times. Also there are various different things we can work towards, various different awards known as ambitions, so you can see something like that in Terraforming Mars. And lastly, there's some familiarity because this is a leader game, and that would be like Root, so check out my video on the channel for that. As I mentioned, this is played over 5 rounds, and what you're looking to do is initially going to shuffle up and deal out. It's going to be 6 cards each, and what you're going to be doing is placing out those. So basically it'll be 18 cards in a 3-player game. 2 cards won't be seen, they'll be placed face down, and as I said, they're 2 through to 6. Whoever starts is going to lead off, so they're going to take this kind of first player marker and play a card. So you can play a high card, guaranteeing you to win because you have to follow if you can, and we don't have to follow, but you won't get as many benefits and many options. So in this case I play, let's say, the highest value. So this is a 6. It becomes the lead, so the lead suit, or in this case it says you may declare the ambition of your card. So I can play this card again because it is the highest value and no one else can beat it, and those pips represent the amount of action points I can take, and those are the actions I can take. So for mobilization I can move or I can influence, and by playing it, as I did say about leading, I can actually choose to declare an ambition. This is an ambition. Playing it like this allows me to claim it. It lets me place out one of these markers over here, and initially on the first round these are placed out like this, so the values go out from a 2, 3 and 5, and whichever goes out last, it flips over the bottom one, becomes now worth a 4, and then round 3, round 4 they get better. So again, they do start snowballing in points, which is why you can, and as we did, finish it in 4 rounds. And in this case I might want to try and claim and declare for myself for empath doing the best, because the bottom of my card happens to have the symbol matching where I've just declared. So I'd have this in round 1 like this, and move to the highest value one down here. If I have the most empath I get 5 points. If I tie for it we'll both get 3, that's if 2 players do it. But if 2 people tie for the second place, people get nothing, as in the second place gets nothing. So I might play that, someone else might follow and play another value of the same suit. All they get is not these pips, they just get a single action. However, because a 0 declaration was made, they can go higher than it, and then of course they get 4 actions, so they can do 4 moves, and they can do some influences, or some moves and some influences, a total of 4. Movement is as follows. You can move like this, that is a movement of 1. You could do 1 and 2, or 1 and 2, or whatever it might be, but you cannot cross voids, you kind of got to go around this way, hence the word arc. And you could choose to instead play another card, and this is basically a card that does not match the lead suit. If you do play a card that matches the lead suit, that is called surpassing, but if it is lower than it. So imagine I played a 6 and did not declare, then I'm playing a 2, which is surpassing. If you have any questions, do let me know in the comments section on YouTube. Like, subscribe and hit the notification bell. But do I recommend watching this a second time. If I'm speaking too fast, slow it down or speed it up. David is with me. Anything to just bring in at that point?
Hi, so also, I don't know if you've covered it, but there's the guild and the vox cards, which are elements of the court, who you want to go and send your agents to go and recruit. And so the idea is you'll send your agents down in one action, which would be the influence, and then in a later round you'd then go and send a secure to go and take that card and add it to your play area, so you'd recruit the loyal empaths. And then you would have you'd be able to use those symbols. This is the psionic symbol to score your empath goal, you'd have 3 symbols here. You'd probably be winning that with 3 symbols.
So as you can see, I played a card here that, or somebody else played a card like this. But speaking about what they mentioned about playing an influence, maybe I want to play an influence. In what case I can play a card, it can be placed like this. And what this means is I'm now playing a different card. So you can place a card that does not match the lead suit. It's called pivoting, and you take 1 action on your card, but it's not on the lead card. So rather than taking 3 actions, I'm taking just 1, but I'm playing one of my things, such as influence, which we'll come back onto in a second, taxing or repair. Repairing is if your ships gets damaged, and basically they all start face up like this, and if they get damaged, they take 1 damage, 2 damage, and they get removed. So 1, and the second damage, they go off, but 2 damage, 1 hits, they come off. We'll come back onto that in a moment. Taxing, you can tax what you control or influence, and you can take whatever's there, such as relics, which looks like this. You can also get fuel and various other tokens. There are a finite amount of them, but they're over there, and they can go on your board. And lastly, influence, which David mentioned. So there's 4 of these guild cards, and you're looking to control them. So for 1 influence action point, you can go on here. In this case, for example, call to action. When secured, we'll come on to that in a second, you draw 1 action card from the bottom of the action card, discard pile, and then discard a call to action. So let's talk about other things. We mentioned securing a second ago. If you happen to be having the most, so you do not, if you ultimately have outright majority of your agents on here, then what you can be doing is securing it. You take the card and it goes next to you, but these cards in particular can be quite good because they count as extra fuel icons. That is good if you're trying to get the tycoon benefits. Whoever has the most, again, gets some more points. Obviously, based on those tokens, there's only 3 tokens of the 5 different awards you can try and achieve. So you can see there's an extra counter. So I've got 1 fuel icon here, and of course I could get more fuel icons as well by taxing or raiding or whatever else there might be. So we also have battle. Battle means you can fight. To fight, you need to be in the same space. I'm here. I have 1 die to roll because I've got a single ship, but it must be face up. It cannot be damaged. And here are the dice I can use. Some quite weak dice. 50% chance of getting 1 hit. Again, you need 2 to take out a ship. This one's already damaged, so that would get lost. These guys, which can do some battle damage to you back. What these represent is basically if there's for every ship that is not damaged that you're fighting, then they're going to attack you first, and basically going to bounce back and hit you for damage. And lastly, these ships, these dice, which are good for attacking bases. These are your bases, and you're trying to get keys, and what keys represent is you can steal people's stuff in front of you. So there's various keys. If you rolled a single key in total, you could take that something there or something here. And as you can see, some of these also are worth keys as well. So trying to steal people's stuff, lots of interaction. And I think that pretty much covers everything. We talked about attacks, moving, securing, influencing, we talked about, repairing. So that pretty much covers all the different things you'll be doing. Highly interactive. And what else is there to cover off? Well, you want to, of course, make sure you want to run builds. So in the last game, I did not get any of these out. If you happen to get these out, there's more space to store stuff. And if you happen to acquire more of these resources, you can choose and change the order where you happen and put them around. But if someone steals them, you cannot then change it. So again, you need to roll 3 keys, which is why that's quite nice and secure. Again, these are quite nice and secure too, because they're worth 3 keys. But if you get this one off as well, if you win the ambition, so that award, then you'll get plus 2 points as well, but only if you win. Equally, if you get this one off as well, it's 2 plus 3, so a total of 5 extra points for coming first in one of those 3 awards of the 5 available. Lots of interaction. No one really went over here. Again, this is randomized each game, so you're able to pick one of these cards and it's going to tell you what you are taking out of play. So 3-player frontiers, and where you're placing out ships. And where you're placing out ships will be 3 ships into each location, and also you can be placing either a spaceport, which allows you to bring out more ships, or you bring out cities, which allow you to tax. And that pretty much sums up everything that is in the game of ARCS. This has actually got the upgrade kit worth about $25, £25. So this is the standard wooden one, but here is a nice upgraded agent, which in particular looks good. This is a standard looking wooden ship, which as you can see upgrades to quite a snazzy used feature looking ship as well. Like I said, other videos, check on the channel, check out my fort video I've got just off to the side on obviously AmassGames as well. Also check out the Instagram pictures via the description YouTube. Support the channel via Patreon, head through as well to Facebook for the discussion, the podcast as well, and lastly there's a few other things such as TikTok Connects. Anything else, David, to cover off?
Yeah, I think from the first game, I think there was quite a bit of power jumping at the end, and I think the stars could have aligned for any one player to win at the end, and I think it was just we were too busy battling each other down. You don't have an opportunity to run away with the game.
Cool. Yeah, so like I said, it's very much has a root-like kind of a snowball build. Definitely beat the leader, kind of focusing on who's in the lead. And yeah, lots of interaction of the whole game throughout. Like I said, look forward to speaking again soon for the next one, but for now, back to the table.